Hi, my name's Rachel Andrews. Welcome to Everyday Athlete. On this week's video, I thought we'd take a look at when's the best time to start outdoor swimming. If you're not familiar with the content from my channel, it's mostly about outdoor swimming, and if that ticks your box, then please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking on the little link in the bottom corner there. On to this week's content then. What I wanted to look at was what's the simplest way to get going with outdoor swimming and when can you do it? I do see lots of people asking about going outdoor swimming and quite a few comments saying you really need to wait until it's warmer water, warmer air temperature. But actually, I don't really think that's the case, because to be honest, whenever you get into the water, it's gonna feel chilly. Probably chillier than you might have expected. She's chilly. Oh, Christmas drop off. In I go. But you know, what's not to like about hopping into something that looks like that? Something that can be a little bit bewildering when you're trying to get into outdoor swimming is the amount of equipment and kit that's available. I mean, much like any hobby, there's lots of stuff you could have, but really, let's pare it down to what you absolutely have to have to get cracking with it. My first tip would be to pick somewhere that has easy in and out access. Somewhere like this beach behind me, where it's a nice gently shelving beach and there are no wild currents. Take a moment when you get there to stand and have a look at the water. The other thing to do when you're picking a location is to think about which way the wind will be blowing. Something like windy.com can help with that. So today I know that the wind is blowing off the land, so this bit will be nice and flat. It's nice to swim in flat water, it's not essential, but it's more key for when we go to get changed to keep the wind off us and to be able to warm up that little bit quicker. Once you've figured out where you want to go, the next thing to do is to get hold of some kit. Now I'm going to go with the simplest version of the kit that you need to go outdoor swimming. As I mentioned before, there's lots and lots of equipment that you could have for outdoor swimming, but I think I pared it down to the bare minimum in here. So I've got myself a shopping bag, just a common old garden shopping bag, and inside I've got just 4 items. So I've got an old pair of sandals, really important to protect your feet for getting both in and out, but certainly for getting out so that you can get to getting changed quicker. Next up, just a normal swimsuit. Doesn't matter what kind, I'm sure you've got something kicking around from your holidays. If you've got one of these, great. If not, if you haven't got a dedicated swim hat, then a bobble hat will do. But remember to take a spare one with you. And then finally, a big towel. Now while I've got all of that kit in the bag, actually, it's much better to arrive to the beach with your swim stuff on underneath, so that then you've got a quick disrobing and you can pop your stuff back in the bag. Top tip though, when you put your clothes in the bag, put them in the order that you're going to need them. You might be wondering, well, what am I going to do with my valuables when I get in the water? I'd say leave them in your shoe or in your bag on the beach, because actually for that first swim you're only going to be a couple of meters off the beach, and you can definitely keep an eye on your gear and yell at anyone that gets close to it. But people are pretty respectful of equipment. Just don't leave it miles away from where you're going to be. You're only going to be in for a couple of minutes, just enough time to float within your depth and to get your breathing under control. That is enough. You want to get out making sure that you feel like getting in again next time. Don't frighten yourself by staying in too long and having a huge amount of shivers afterwards. Now here's a point that may or may not float your boat. Before getting in for that first swim, consider taking a selfie just before you get in so that you can compare it to the one you take just after you get out. You might be quite surprised to see the change in expression from possible anticipation to pretty chuffed with yourself. It's a fun thing to do, it's up to you if you want to. And if you do take them, post a before and after shot on your Facebook groups for outdoor swimming. The swimmers love to see people's first go, and they're always chuffed to see how happy you are afterwards. When you go to get in, there's a whole ton of different ways you can do it. Some people like to get in and splash a bit of water on themselves. Some like to splash a bit on their face, gently woofing it up. I prefer to just walk out to waist deep and just dunk in until I've got my neck and head out of the water. I absolutely would say keep your face and your head out of the water on the first few goes at least, because that's quite a risky activity to get all of that pretty cold all in one hit. You're already asking a lot of your body when you get yourself into cold water, so give yourself a chance. The other thing to think about is when you get in the water initially, it can feel like you've got pins and needles all over, and your fingers can be hurting, your toes can be hurting, but that does subside after a little while. But don't be surprised if the first time you go outdoor swimming you don't feel all euphoric, either while you're in there or as soon as you get out. You might come out feeling a little bit deflated. But I think you'll see as the day wears on, you kind of feel a little bit more and more chuffed that you managed to do what you were hoping to do. So stick with it and give it another go. When you get out the water, time is of the essence. Get yourself dried and dressed as quickly as you can, and stick on your big coat to keep the wind off. Once you're all sorted, and snug as a bug in a rug, maybe with the addition of some gloves, if not some fleecy pockets, then you can think about having a warm drink. The warm drink is not essential for warming up, it's nice psychologically, but if you think you're pretty much made of water, if you think maybe the average person is 75 kilograms, that's 75 litres. So if we're drinking a 500 litre warm drink, that's a little bit like pouring your flask into a full bath. It won't make much difference, but it feels nice when you're drinking it. Once you are all nice and warm again, you might want to take a little look at your before and after shots. Have a little look, see what you think, see if you've got a smile on your face. I hope that from this video you can see that actually any time of the year is good for trying outdoor swimming. It's all about being prepared before and after the swim and making sure that the elements aren't working against you, that you're not getting changed somewhere cold, and that it's not super windy where you're getting out. One thing I would say is don't do an ice breaking type of swim for your first one, because that really would be a shock to the system. It only takes about 4 or 5 goes outdoor swimming to start to feel that you can stay in a little bit longer. So don't be put off with the fact you can only stay in for a couple of minutes. At this time of year, in the winter, the maximum we should really be staying in is about 10 minutes anyway. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, drop me a comment and tell me if you're going to go for that first swim and how it was if you did. And also consider subscribing to my channel by clicking on my face and dinging the little bell, and you'll know when the next one's out. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye!